Hey everyone, making this video going over basically Ethereum and what to expect, or what I think we can expect from not only the market, but in terms of price action and how the news and the price will react to the ETF decision tomorrow. Um, Not entirely sure if it's going to play out like this, so we'll take a look at the chart, and as we can see, um, it's been pretty strong, especially on lower time frames. This is the weekly chart, but especially on the lower time frames, it actually is consolidating here. Or if you want to talk about a small little range forming, right, or a little bull flag forming, but there is your range, okay? But let's take a look and see what we can possibly expect from the ETF. And there's a very good chance that it's going to get approved tomorrow. Okay, I don't think the SEC is going to delay it, especially if they're going around and asking, exchanges for information and letting them know that they're going to approve it. But if we were to start on a higher time frame, right, we can see that we have a clear supply zone here. Okay, so also, we have resistance. So I'll plot out that level here around 3,900 and straight up to around 42-ish. Okay, so supply zone, we rejected nicely from it, went back down sub 3K, and to be honest, that was an easy long. I know, whenever we go deeper, especially after a correction, people are calling for much lower. We get to say over here after this pullback, right? No one wanted to buy here. You got a nice 10% move there. We get a deeper pullback into here. People are saying, oh, we're going over here, right? So they don't buy here, they don't dollar cost average. And in a trending market, especially in an uptrend, when we are making higher highs and higher lows, okay, if we draw this trend line, just play the trend until broken. If you think we're going lower, then slowly start averaging in. Don't go full throttle and full port at the first entry. Go in with, let's say, if you want to allocate $1,000, go in with $250 and then buy down if we're going lower. Okay, if we don't go lower, you can buy higher with confirmation. Now tomorrow, we could get something like this. We could easily get a move into higher, take out these highs, and then get a nice move down. Now, let's take a look at what happened when the BTC ETF got approved. Okay, and it was right here. Okay, when Bitcoin ETF got approved, first of all, this ETF or the SEC jump scare that happened on the second or third, right? We went as high as 45 and then dumped back, below 40K briefly, and then we had the run up. The ETF got approved on the 10th or the 11th, so somewhere above here. But notice how we went high, right? And we had a clear range here on Bitcoin as well. Okay, so if we were taking this range, and here is your range low, right? Deviation of the range highs, back under, rejection down, broke out, right? Here's the retest, went a little bit higher, and then after the ETF was approved, right, we dipped. Okay, now this is important because let's say the ETF gets approved and we get a run up, let's say again like a 5 or 10% move, right? If this happened here, let's say we get a 5 to 10% move, right? And then we get a dump of from the highs to the lows of 21% before it continues the rally higher into all-time highs. Okay. Now let's apply the same exact fractal and mythology to ETH. Okay, let's go to a lower time frame, and we have a range like we did with Bitcoin, right? So let's take, here's your range high, right? Here's your true resistance. The wick still closed below, so that's your resistance. And here is your range low. Okay, so we got a little bull flag, and it's currently at resistance itself. We're consolidating under resistance, right? Consolidation under resistance is typically bullish, whereas consolidation on support for an extended amount of time is bearish. And in this case, right, we broke up, flipped it, went higher, broke down, flipped it into resistance, and now we are having multiple rejections from resistance but consolidating under, okay, while having a bull flag. Now, if we're talking technical targets for this bull flag, here is your technical targets, okay, to around 43, 4400. But let's get away from that for a second. Let's go back on the weekly, and we draw that supply zone. Okay. So on the ETF day, we had a was it 8% move up? Okay, so let's say we have an 8% move up. Okay, still into that supply zone. Maybe we take out the highs here, as I mentioned. Let's use this one. So here are the highs. Okay, so let's say we take out the highs. We put in a double top and a swing failure pattern. Take out the liquidity, close below, and then if we were to dump, let's say from this point, from the highs, okay, the 21% or whatever it was, 21%, okay. So this goes back to not only so we have a demand zone here, okay, but this was the highs, and it was a clear range here, okay. Resistance, resistance, deviation, resistance, breakout. We didn't have a successful retest. This just continued to go higher. Okay, on the news that the SEC was going to potentially approve all ETFs, range lows, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches. So if we were to use the fractal of the same exact pump and dump that BTC had, so 8% move up and apply a 21% move down, we should come and retest this level here. So if you wake up tomorrow, you miss this move, or you're in a time zone where it happens and you miss it, don't get FOMO. Okay, there's two areas where you're going to play this. One is going to be the retest of this breakout area. So this is now an SR point. We have broken out. We have not flipped it to support, right? So this is going to be your first area. And honestly, I play this on spot and target new all-time highs. Okay, if this does not give, then you're going to wait until confirmation happens, and we're going to play the flip of here. So let's say this continues to run higher, right? You miss this whole entire move up. You're going to set limits at the previous highs, and you're going to wait until we successfully retest, hold, close above, and then you take a long. In that case, right, we have a break of structure here. We just broke up. Okay, let's say we go higher. We come and put in a higher low, and let's say we go higher up. Right now we have a higher high, higher low, higher high, hopefully a higher low. And then it's the start of a new trend, and then we just rally higher, just like we did with Bitcoin, right? here was the highs, right? We consolidated under resistance. We broke out on a lower time frame, the 4 hour. We actually did come back and retest this level. Okay, so there's the breakout, there's the retest. Same thing here, right? Highs, breakout, retest, and then go higher, making just like ETH. All right, let's remove these. Making a higher high, higher low, higher high, comes back down, makes a higher low, and then we continue our grind to new all-time highs. Okay, now this doesn't have to go up here. This is just an example, but it could easily, go here and then come back down. So if you missed the move tomorrow, if there is a pump, I hopefully am expecting a dump. I don't know how low we will go, but I'm not saying I'm going to get this 32.80. I'm just going to start dollar cost averaging basically every single $100 from 34 down to 2,900. And I don't have a stop loss when I'm playing spot. And then I'm just riding it to all-time highs. Okay. Now, if ETH is to run, then alts will run as well. Okay. I'm not going to get into a whole bunch of altcoins, but the ones that are very enticing, and my biggest bag, one is Ondo. Okay, so this 87-cent seller here finally gave up. We had the breakout. There's the retest. Okay, now we are consolidating here under resistance. Okay, let's say we have an inverse head and shoulders here. If we were to take the target of the inverse head and shoulders higher, would put us around $1.28. Okay, again, we are consolidating under resistance. We actually have some type of little bull flag forming. The daily looks better. Okay, bull flag target is around the same. Green impulse to the highs. This would actually like $1.16. So Ondo is my first choice. Any dips into 88 to 87 cents is a buy. Actually, any dips, 89 cents. We're still in this from when I called it, but if we were to get a flip, right, and then we target new highs, I mentioned this in a few servers that I'm in, but this looks like TIA to me before the final leg up. Right, one sec, let me show you guys what I mean. Okay, so here's TIA. Right, higher high, low, high, low, high, low, consolidation. High, low, consolidation. Right, here's the trend line. We had a fake out. Here's the trend line. We had a fake out before the resistance here. Here's the resistance. And then once we broke out, right, if I were to fast forward this, right, you had a nice 50% move to the upside. If that were to happen here on that breakout, 50% move, right, you go to about almost $1.50. So the trend is your friend until it's not, right? You'll keep playing the trend until it breaks. Same thing here, right? We broke out, trend line, broke out, trend line, and then it continues to run from there. So Ondo is my number one bet for a nice play if we were to break out the upside. But I'm not going to go into altcoins here. I'm just trying to get into what we could expect on for ETH. But if we were to get a dip tomorrow, um, it's depending on how low we go, it's going to affect not only ETH but also other altcoins as well. I do expect them to recover fast though. If we do get a dip and it lasts, let's say a few days to possibly a few weeks, just like Bitcoin did, right? We had this dip happened on the 11th all the way down, then we recovered on the 24th. It's about 2 weeks, and then we rallied to all-time highs. If that were to happen again, pick the coins that you want to start a bag with, or if you don't have anything, that's when you want to buy the post ETF news, or once we have a flip, that's when you go ahead and buy. Now, those that have very strong reactions on the dip, holding well or stable or relatively, going down less than other coins, are the ones that you want to focus on. Okay, not every coin is going to perform well. Meme coins and maybe low cap coins are not going to perform well compared to mid caps and large caps. So I would focus on those. But that's what I'm expecting on ETH. I'm expecting the same type of price action and hopefully the same fractal that we had here apply to ETH here as well. So if we get down to 32 or 3,300 down to 3,100, that is definitely a buy area, and then you ride it to all-time highs from there. You have easy invalidation because if it does come back there, right, it should put in another higher low, right? Even if it comes back down here, right, and then just higher from there. Okay, so that's what I'm expecting on ETH. Be patient. If you are not in any positions and you're just waiting for the news to play out, that's totally fine. Just don't chase a green candle like this. And if we do have a green candle like this, don't just blindly short. In the event that we do go down, if you are going to short, you want to focus on macro levels of resistance, which this supply zone is that area. Okay, so if you're looking to short, it's basically going to be anywhere from, in my opinion, 41 to 4,200. Okay, because we can have a quick move up. Now I know some big hedge firms are saying we could go to 6,600 based on the ETF approval. We could not, but just take it level by level. We have resistance here, and the next major resistance doesn't come until basically like up here around 46, 4,700. All right, so that's what I'm looking for. That's my game plan. I'm not going to get into further coins. If I see anything, I'll go ahead and alert it in the Discords, but that's my plan for ETH, and we're just going to wait and see what happens tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.